This is obviously Fight Talk Quickfire News. 2 minutes on the clock. Let's go. It was announced last Friday that Georges St-Pierre had vacated the newly won UFC middleweight title. A few days after it was revealed that he would be out indefinitely due to, I can't say the word, colitis. The former welterweight king said he has vacated the title out of respect to the athletes of the sport, and so he wouldn't be holding up a division. Robert Whittaker is now being awarded the middleweight title and will defend it against the gorgeous Luke Rockhold at UFC 221. What's your thoughts on GSP and the matchup of Whittaker and Rockhold?
So, two things, obviously. GSP vacating the title. It makes sense. If he's going to be out for a long time, I like it, because how many times have we seen champions been out for so long? Dominic Cruz, for instance. It took how many times was it that Dominic Cruz came back, got injured, came back, got injured, came back, got injured, and not come back as in go back in the training camp, got injured, and then he had to vacate it eventually. So I think it's a good move from George. I think it is respectful. I know some people on the internet,
A little bit of a dig as well, do you think?
A dig in what way? As in
dig at Conor?
Not really. I don't think so.
They're holding up a division?
No, I don't think so. Like, it may be underlining, but I don't really think so. I think it's just GSP just saying what he thinks. On the Rockhold fight, I really like it. I'm pretty sure that's the one that we said makes most sense for Whittaker if he wasn't going to fight GSP. So I like the fight. It's a very good fight, and that's going to be in Melbourne, is it?
Yeah. Perth, I think.
Perth.
GSP, Dana White has to be, if he had hair, he'd be pulling it out, because the contract that was signed was that he has to defend the belt. So GSP has come back, won a title shot that many would argue he shouldn't have really got, because he's never fought at middleweight before, and then vacates it a couple of weeks later. Look, yeah, health is your wealth. Just because I can't pronounce this, colitis or whatever it's called.
Colitis.
Colitis. I fucking had it. Yeah, your health is your wealth. So if he's bound away for that, yeah, well done. Hopefully he gets better and there's something that can be done with it. But yeah, it's a weird one that he's come back and gone. You know, obviously he must have been aware he had this illness when he came back.
They're saying that it might be weight cut related.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weight cutting, he's at middleweight. Normally fights at welter. Interesting. But yeah,
or gaining weight related.
Rockhold Whittaker is a good fight. Is Rockhold worthy of it?
Yeah, I know he had that loss, but I think the David Branch one is a good win. I know a lot of people don't know David Branch, and it was a little bit of a rocky start for him. No pun intended. It actually wasn't intended.
Why not a good win?
Yeah, true. Next up, we have our next UFC heavyweight title fight, and it's the one we all wanted. Champ Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou has been officially booked for the upcoming UFC 220 pay-per-view on January 20th. What do you think of that fight?
It's a bit of a snooze fest, I think, really. It's an absolute cracker. As I make aware every time Francis Ngannou wins, that I pointed him out as the big breakthrough of 2017. I said he potentially could be champion by the end of the year.
Back there, will you?
So I'm off by 20 days here. Look, I think Stipe Miocic is actually going to bring a lot to this fight. I don't think it's going to. A lot of people, I was talking on lunch today with Carl, and I was saying, you know, Francis Ngannou's destruction is just fresh in your mind. Yeah. So you got to look at what Stipe has done in his rise to the title, the finishes he's had, the fights he's had to get there. I'd be guilty of Stipe's performances aren't fresh in my mind as what Ngannou just done to over him. But I honestly think if Ngannou lands on any man or Hippo, that they're going to sleep. Yeah. Will Stipe be able to take Francis Ngannou into different waters, like Trenton with takedowns, good footwork? Stipe, can he get in there, land shots? Ngannou was being sort of half wobbled, I think, in the Blades fight, wasn't it? Was it Blades? He got a bit of a hit. Yeah. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see that. For me personally, ask me now, it's Francis Ngannou by destruction. But I just think the champ Miocic, again, because it's not fresh in the mind, I think this is a great fight, and it's something that, like, let's be honest, we all love MMA, but there's just something special about when the heavyweight strap on the 4-ounce gloves, and these are two absolute killers, and it just promises to be an absolute barn burner.
Yeah, like we've seen Stipe being hit a couple of times and being hurt a couple of times, even in his most recent fights. Some of his title fights has been rocked. Yeah. So I think the immediate reaction is if Francis Ngannou hits him, it's over. And that's probably what happens. Yeah. That guy hits like nobody else. Yeah. But so does Stipe. Stipe hits very, very hard. And I do think Stipe has some things that Francis hasn't seen. Like, Overeem could, in theory, use his grappling game against Ngannou, but he doesn't really have that game where he can get it there. He doesn't have a wrestling game, really. He might have some clinch wrestling game, but he doesn't have it's Stipe Miocic wrestling game. So it could be interesting, but who knows?
Well, Conor McGregor will be returning to fighting soon, possibly. In a recent interview, the UFC lightweight champion said, "I have every intention of fighting in 2018 if my compensation and business development endeavours accurately reflect my influence on combat sports." He specifically mentioned both MMA and boxing as options amidst the rumours that Manny Pacquiao has been in discussions for a fight with the Irishman. UFC President Dana White then told the media that it's not true. But if it was, he'd sue Manny and his representative for speaking to a contracted fighter. Any weight in that story with Manny, do you think?
Maybe. I know Bob Arum came out and said that there was discussions a while ago. I hope not, because I don't think really anyone really wants to see it. People watch, again, it's one of them things where people will watch because, freak show and whatnot. But on McGregor coming back, I'm definitely on the board of he's definitely going to fight again. I know a lot of people are saying, he's made his money. He probably won't fight again.
Some might say he's been in a couple of fights, Rob, since we last seen him.
Some might say that, yeah, in a couple of bars and down the road. But yeah, I'm on the board of McGregor, on the side of McGregor coming back. Hopefully it's the MMA, Jesus, hopefully it's the MMA. I hope it's not boxing. But definitely the UFC need to make a deal with him. He says it there. He says it every time he's asked if he's going to come back. He says that he wants certain needs met, and we know that might be co-promotion.
He was saying, wasn't he, I'm looking forward to come back and fight for my company.
Yeah.
He was saying. Obviously, look, we're an MMA podcast. We cover boxing the odd time. I'm sure Brendan will probably want to talk about the stuff that went on at the weekend.
Yeah, but we'll
it's like...
I want to see boxers boxing.
Yeah.
In mixed martial arts. Mixed martial art.
Excellent. For me, my standout moment for Conor McGregor was, when you look at what Eddie Alvarez done against Justin Gaethje, that puts into perspective just how good Conor McGregor is as a mixed martial artist. So I want to see that mixed martial artist.
Exactly.
I don't want to see him box anymore. As much as the money's in it, I can understand why Conor McGregor will want to box because the money is ridiculous. But it's I don't want to see him play snooker either. Do you know what I mean? I don't want him and Terry Griffiths to have a game down the old Premier in Dunleary.
That reference went way over my head.
Terry Griffiths plays snooker and he's from Wales.
Nice.
But
decent.
I have no interest in watching him play snooker or whatever. I want to see Conor McGregor fight after what he done to Eddie Alvarez and what Eddie Alvarez has now done to Justin Gaethje. What a performance. And that just emphasises for me how good Conor McGregor is. So let's get him in there.
And he's not lacking options either. If the UFC, the UFC don't really need to promote Conor McGregor at this point. He's just promotes himself. But Tony Ferguson's a great fight.
Tony Ferguson, March, get it on.
What's me? Mark Hunt is free to resume his UFC career after full medical analysis. This is a quote at the end at the Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health in Las Vegas. UFC confirms that the heavyweight athlete Mark Hunt has been cleared to compete. A statement provided exclusively to MMAfighting.com.
Yeah, look. In some ways, Mark Hunt has got himself to blame for this.
Yeah, like
Mark Hunt came out with the statement of we can't speak, I'm forgetful.
And he said he was misquoted on something he provided, which is weird.
Yeah, so Hunt sort of got himself to blame for that. Yeah. It'd be like somebody saying, Jesus, I'm locked, I've had enough to drink, I can barely stand.
Yeah.
You go, no more drink.
Yeah.
And and he goes, actually, you're grand. And you go, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
But Hunt had sort of said what he'd said. So, the UFC, it was, in a way, it was good to show they have a bit of responsibility.
Yeah.
And now you could argue Bisping fought in Shanghai after bit.
It's grey. It's a grey area.
But, Hunt sort of drove himself down that path, you know what I mean? And you're not meant to drive on path, you're meant to cycle or walk on path. So, but Hunt definitely 100% put himself a little bit in that. Doesn't help that he also has a legal case against the UFC for the Brock Lesnar fight. But, at the same time, it's good to see Hunt is being cleared, but you do sort of have yourself to blame for that, Mark.
Yeah, when this came out and everyone was like, the UFC are picking on Hunt because of this, that, and the other, the whole legal thing. He said what he said.
Yeah.
What, are they going to ignore that?
Yeah,
unfortunately, they were put in a bad position, I think, because they weren't going to come out very good after what they did. Pulling them from a but when you look at it in the big picture, he comes out and he says that he's forgetting things. Imagine they put him in the fight there and he got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
What would people be saying?
Yeah.
So they were in a bad position, but I was completely on the side of the UFC kind of had to do something, and they done that. I'm glad that he's cleared because you'd hate for a guy who he said he was cleared by some of our doctors, but you'd hate for a guy to be put out there against his own will, especially if he's okay. apparently he's okay. You know, let him fight. Let's see what happens.
I'm glad though it was a UFC doctor as well, because it's like if you're on the social welfare, right, and you're claiming sickness, and you go to your doctor, the doctor will go, yeah, there's an L cert, he doesn't give a shit, there's an L cert. So you're off work claiming the old sick pay, and then you go to the bleeding socials doctor, and he's after you. He'll have you doing jumping stars, he'll have you shoveling coal, he'll have you doing everything to make sure you're alright. So what I'm saying in a really weird way is that the UFC doctor's not going to pass him willy-nilly knowing what was being said. But you sort of have yourself to blame there, man.
Get what you mean.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk has cut ties with her nutrition team, perfecting athletes, and blames the poor weight cut on her defeat to UFC strawweight champion Rose Namajunas at UFC 2000 and the 2000 UFC 20. Jeez, I can't speak. 217. She said, "Quote: The mistakes they made were unforgivable. I can't work with those kinds of people." Now, as well, Rob, there was a video of Joanna cutting weight a couple of years ago, and it's like horrendous. Like,
it's terrible.
And she's sort of being quoted saying, "I don't care what I have to do to get to weight. I'll get in the hottest water needed. I'll do whatever." But like, is it a weight cut that was to blame for Joanna getting lit up like a Christmas tree?
I don't like. From what we've seen, it didn't look like a weight cut thing. Maybe the weight cut can affect senses. Well, it can. You know, a bad weight cut can affect senses and stuff like that. But it did look like skill. That looked like a bit of a skill gap. But you know, if she doesn't think that the weight cut went well, what's kind of weird though is I remember watching like UFC Embedded, and she always used to say, "Oh, perfecting athletes are great, perfecting athletes are great," for her last couple of camps. So it's a little bit weird that she's coming out now and saying that, "Oh no, they're terrible," and the weight cut was awful.
Well, look, isn't it easy to, you know, when things are going right and you're winning, it's easy to do whatever. And I think a little bit here, I'm a little bit disappointed in a way. I thought Joanna was a real. Word I want to like, she's not.
Loyal?
She seems to be coming out with loads of mistakes or, you know, excuses for the defeat. You just put your hands up and say, "Look, Rose was the better fighter on the night. Congratulations, get your rematch and get your title back." They're coming out and saying, it's because it is. I didn't tap. You did tap.
Yeah, I think
there's no reason to make an excuse to say you didn't tap.
Yeah,
like, you tapped, fight another day. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But don't say you didn't tap when you tapped. I'm doing a tap thing here again, Rob. But then, you know, the weight cut, it's just like every fighter comes into a fight injured, has to cut weight, goes through, you know, hard times. But not every fighter comes out and uses it as an excuse. And for me, a little bit, Joanna needs to just stop making excuses. You were beaten. Rose absolutely lit you up that night.
There's a little bit of a Ronda Rousey about Joanna sometimes. You know, she's a really sore loser, and sometimes that's not a bad thing. Like a lot of these guys and girls are really sore losers. But I think she could have approached it better. If she just come out and said the weight cut was terrible, maybe it impacted my performance, I don't know, but I don't want to do that again. You know, move on. I think that would have been a better way.
100%.
Yeah.